There absolutely is, but these players have deep bags. There's a lot to still reach in and out and grab. And I mean, Doran still has his Gragas. There's so many iconic picks that are still up and available. We can see more aggressive picks, things like Draven. There's less meta picks like Ziggs, the AP bot laners that you can bring out. Ashe is still available. Caitlyn is still available. So there's still tons that these players can reach out and grab. To me, the question is not, can you find a champion that you can play in Game 5? The question is, can you find a champion that you can play in Game 5 that has a good lane matchup, that is part of a cohesive composition, that is also better than the composition that your opponents have crafted? And that is why Game 5 is so uniquely difficult. There's no prep you can really do because everything is based on what has happened in the series.
The finals ban rate for Nico, for Pantheon, and for Varus will remain at 100% for the series. Kai'Sa and Maokai also banned out by T1, who are back on the blue side as Gen.G think about their final ban in the first half.
You have to imagine that Caitlyn is very high on the priority list for T1. Gen.G throw down the gauntlet. Canyon's Nidalee is still available, but T1, will they prioritize their AD carry? Do they have something else in mind?
Nidalee's available, as is its most classic pairing, the Renekton. So, the question is, do they want to deny it? And I actually think this is quite smart because Renekton is quite powerful at this stage of the game here with so many champions out of the pool. It also kind of denies the Nidalee by issue of taking its best pairing away.
Well, to feel that for Canyon, it's just a champion that he's so amazing at. What we were looking at his win rate, 83% all-time career or something ridiculous like that. The Aatrox currently being covered on the side of Gen.G.
And surprisingly enough, Leona still is available here. One of those primary engaged supports that can be very, very popular.
There it is!
They'll take it anyway. Renekton not required.
I would not mind a Leona pairing. You need some sort of hard AC, I really do think. Some sort of setup to be able to land those spears, but maybe Canyon feels like, hey, I don't need it. I can just make it work anyway. Kobe talked about it on the desk. Last time we saw the Nidalee come out for Canyon against Oner, it was Oner's Lee Sin that really did rule the day, but the Lee Sin, of course, is banned out. So many of the strong physical damage junglers are all gone. You're having to reach pretty deep. Things like Nefiri that haven't been very popular. Things like Zed and Talon, if you want to go towards that AD route. Things like Kindred that we haven't really seen at all. Or you have to go the other path and go into some of these AP junglers. Things like we saw from Oner, such as the Lilia coming out.
My goodness. I mean, I don't even know what predictions to throw out when you're this late to the draft. Different priorities naturally rise. As you mentioned earlier, Azael, things shift. We talked about the Caitlyn earlier. That is currently the hover, and with time running out, Gumayusi will be bringing out his tried and true Caitlyn in this Game 5.
I think we may just get Caitlyn Karma here. Honestly, I do think it would be a really tough lane to contest this late into the draft. But Faker considering just going for the Ahri. Karma makes a lot more sense to me. I do think this is just so smart here. You're denying the strongest pairing for the expected jungler. You're taking a lane-dominant 2v2 with very few answers remaining here. I do think something like Ashe could work, but Ashe has been so unpopular at MSI. It is a strong laner, though, and especially when you're this late in the game, there's not a lot of engaged champs. It can help to kind of bridge that gap, too. So I'll be interested to see if Gen.G do actually consider it.
T1 with a strong laner for topside, with a strong duo in their bot lane in the first 3 picks. Gen.G, though, will lock in the Aurora. You can see here 6 and 9 throughout the tournament. It's been popular, but it hasn't been the most successful.
But you have to come back to the question of, is it Chovy piloting it? The man is a monster on this champion, and with the pool as limited as it is, Gen.G can attack that mid lane. They can narrow the options available, but it depends how confident Canyon feels in what he is playing against Oner. They have so much luxury in what they can limit. T1 can go for, but T1 can respond by narrowing that AD carry pool.
They're going to ban the TF. They could ban the Ahri that was hovered earlier if they are trying to really focus in on Faker here. Now, Faker does have so many champions he's played over the years. The question is, how comfortable is he in a high-pressure situation like this, bringing something out that he maybe hasn't been scrimming with recently? Because that can be the situation sometimes if you're getting heavily target banned and flex picks have been used for other roles in a Game 5 series.
The Silas, I mean, it's a rough matchup in the laning phase, but potentially in the context of the
Yasuo.
Wow.
I mean, I guess they're anticipating a possible Lilia to come through from Oner, an AP champion that can wave clear very fast to try and keep up with the Nidalee, and that means that they would need an AD mid with the Yasuo gone. Perhaps Yone is an alternative for Faker. Not one of his best champions throughout his career, but definitely still an option.
I mean, it'll be really interesting. The Lilia is definitely what I was thinking of as, you know, more of these champions are getting banned out, especially if we do see more melee champs in the mix. When Oner brought it out yesterday, it was versus 4 melee, which I think was such a key part of it being so dominant. This is much more long-range comp. So I do think, yes, you can still make Lilia work. You can stack up your Q and look for Q flashes and things like that with the additional move speed to get in on backline. But it is a much harder game to play than the situation we saw him bring it out in yesterday. So yes, we are being pushed into game 5, but really, when you look at a lot of these compositions, minus maybe the Nidalee, but that's a Canyon special, you could see this much earlier in a draft.
All right, misfortune for Gen.G with Leona, with Blitzcrank banned away. The thing that I'm looking at here on this composition, a total lack of engage, a lack of lockdown. Gen.G still need hard CC somewhere as we wait to see the T1 picks for jungle and mid.
And that's where you maybe start to really cook. Maybe you go to a weird support here, something that is off meta. It's going to be Viego Ahri. Yeah, as soon as you lock the Viego, I think you're going Ahri here because it's such a strong pairing. It's about that upfront burst. Ahri enables Viego by helping you get that first reset. And then Viego, of course, is helping Ahri as well by finishing off that kill, giving you additional charges of the ultimate to continue running over fights here. Very exciting stuff, but not easy engage tools being drafted. Pyke would give them some way to start a fight, but it is so risky.
Thinking about Gragas as an option as well, the hover.
Gragas support, I think, could be smart.
Oh, they're going full.
Ooh, nope.
Oh.
We're going Pyke.
My goodness, Duro. Keria was one of his idols while he was attempting to make his way through the challenger scene in Korea.
Since 2017.
I've got to say, Gen.G's comp, insanely difficult to pilot, I think, here. And T1 going 5 members bot, won't run into anyone from Gen.G, but you're looking at Pyke and Nidalee, 2 champions that are kind of famous for being feast or famine. You know, you get ahead, you can run over a game, you get behind, you are food for the opponents.
You're the road.
Exactly, you are very, very difficult to pilot these champions, but Canyon, his Nidalee is iconic. He has been dominating on it for so long. So you have to think if there's anyone that could pull off a comp like this against T1, it would be Gen.G.
First game in the series that there are no summoner spellbooks present. So no extra teleports, no extra smites. Junglers both having so much carry potential if they get ahead in this game.
Low engage compositions are environments that T1 thrive in. We'll see if they can make magic happen. Gen.G, the defending MSI champions, versus T1, the reigning world champions. A rivalry that has existed for so long, we couldn't have asked for anything better as both these teams push each other to the limit. This bot lane 2 versus 2, going to be a tough one for the Gen.G duo.
I'm also really wondering, you know, if Ruler's going to be able to find good angles for ultimates, because there's basically zero setup for him, it feels like. It's just the Aurora to throw down the ult and try to slow you up, but there's not that hard CC to really lock someone in place to get that full channel bullet time.
I really was expecting the Ezreal to come through, having that extra bit of safety into this matchup specifically, but they wanted more AoE teamfighting power. Ruler and Duro going to be pushed back. Another hook connects. 2 for 2 now for Duro.
Nice hooks, but of course T1 has the push and they have the level advantage, so it's just a bit of poke. We are in game 5 here, and I want to talk about these 2 teams and how they have performed in these game 5s. T1, 19-4, it says in game 5 win rates.
14.
Excuse me,
sure.
It must be 19 and 14, exactly. And then over on the other side, it is a 65% win rate here for Gen.G in those game 5s. So both teams have a solid track record here, but the pressure cannot be higher than in a moment like this.
Tri-lane camera shows how everything is starting off here with Doran having the push here in the top lane. Keria and Gumayusi doing the same in bottom. It's exactly what I expected, seeing those first 3 picks in the draft for T1. The powerful laning phases allowing them to build advantages early. Doran's already proxy farming. He knows that Canyon should be at the bottom side of the map, and Canyon is there right now. Spear flies out, doesn't find anything. Airball on that one, as Canyon sees no opportunity here.
Credit to Ruler and Duro, considering the early pressure, they're really not that far behind at all in terms of farm. There will be a few CS, but Canyon gonna make his way towards that top crab, realizes that he's not in a position to fight for the bottom one. Faker struggling a little bit in the matchup, as Chovy, on this champion specifically, just loves to play in your face, chipping away at your HP bar as much as he can. The hook will miss from Duro.
Bone skewer. Nice hit from Canyon.
It is a good bit of poke, but Faker likely just going back to base anyway. So we'll be able to recall and TP back here. So not going to be too big of a deal, but it does mean Chovy's going to get the luxury of pushing in this extra wave before he has to base, and likely will deny a minion or two. Guma and Keria, anytime Canyon shows himself, they are going to be pushing relentlessly and trying to be farming this plate. They almost have knocked down their first plate already, and Oner's showing up on top side.
Oner wants Keen. Doran's waiting for the flash follow. Ruthless Predator, Spectral Maw, T1, first blood.
And it goes to Oner. Viego wants to be ahead in the early game, and there's nothing complicated about this gank. The wave is just in a good spot for T1. They force the play. They have to commit the flash from Doran, but they make it happen. Keen losing his flash as well, and there's no cross-map play available for Canyon.
Which is really well done. Great setup. Doran had the wave, as you said, Betty. Perfect spot. And there's not really any outplaying that for Keen. It's the flash stun to set it up. A guaranteed follow for Oner. No way he can get out. They're going to look for Faker, though.
Canyon, no spear connect means no gank success.
But I do love these drive-bys from Canyon. You can be so annoying as a Nidalee. You come in, you throw a spear, maybe throw down an auto or two, you heal your teammate, and that is just giving him basically an extra potion worth of HP. It slowly kind of pushes the lane in their favor. And because there was no camps really up and available, he's not spending any time, right? He's just doing a quick drive-by, throws a spear, sees if there's an angle, throws out a heal. He's being very efficient, and this is something you want to see from any top Nidalee player.
Now Tion will initiate the swap. The Caitlyn going to be sent top lane. Keria going to start roaming around the map. He can probably help Faker a little bit in the mid lane. You can see him hovering around, just providing that extra bit of utility with the shields. The Pike now on the roam as well. Level 6 is really valuable for Duro. Having that execute just gives you that much more kill pressure. Ruler, though, looking to match Gumayusi on the top side.
500 gold lead for T1. Just the single kill so far in this game. Dragon is up down there in the bottom lane. You can see the ping from Oner, from T1, as the Viego moves to take that first objective. Not going to be contested. As you can see, Doran again just getting the better of his opponent in that 1v1 with Renekton versus Aatrox matchup. This is the time that we're seeing this game. Flash away from Keria there with pressure from Duro and Canyon. This is the time here in the match. If there's ever a time to stand up, that's the time to do it. T1 though might just get dove. Make it rain, putting the pressure on. Gumayusi with a flash away. Between worlds goes Chovy, and Keria goes down. Guma goes with them. A double kill for Ruler.
Gen.G pull off the perfect dive there, juggling the aggro flawlessly. Keria and Guma get nothing back here. They do get a dragon on the bot side thanks to Oner, but what a big play for Gen.G to be able to pull off, and the perfect place for all the gold to go right into Ruler's pockets.
Chovy's base will be interrupted, but so much credit on that dive needs to be given to Duro, because he flashes, threatening the hook onto Guma, which forces his flash out even earlier. This just sets up the whole rest of the play, given that Keria had just lost his flash in the river. With a no flash bot lane, the dive becomes easy to execute, and Gen.G fine too.
And when you think about how Caitlyn Karma actually function in the MF, it's about poke, it's about chipping them down. This means Ruler's going to get to a way faster BT, is not going to be worried about the poke whatsoever. So let's watch this one more time. They see the Make It Rain comes through, slowing them down. The spear is there. Duro flashes, forcing out the flash, and then goes right through, drops the ignite. They can't quite finish him off, just barely gets out of range. And they know how much this means. A start like this could be that first start of the snowball to get rolling in their favor.
You can see the stress of the T1 fans in the audience. Of course, it's only the start of the game. Another plate going to be secured for Faker.
It's going to get more intense from here, my friends. The Void Grubs spawning as Doran slices away from the bone skewer. Does not want to be caught there by Duro. Likely wouldn't be put in a position where he could actually die, but definitely doesn't want to lose out on all the HP as Oner is going after his second neutral objective of the game. He takes a single grub and backs away. They don't know where everybody on Gen.G is right now. We know that nobody was in the area, but T1 now knows that Gen.G is also in their jungle and they're scrambling to defend.
Keria did get the big raptor there, was able to take that away, and Oner wanted to defend his side. Doran's coming. They could look for a threatening.
Yeah, Doran potentially ready to block that tri-brush escape route, but Ken and Duro, both these champions are so hyper-mobile, it's very easy for them to take non-traditional exits. So although they wanted to look for the red, T1 successfully defend.
It's pretty interesting that Oner just got one grub and then immediately went back to his bot side. He does not want to concede all these camps to Canyon. You know how quickly an Italy can run out of control in this early game if she's just allowed a free farm. Nice interrupt there from Faker on the key.
And I think Oner really was hoping that they were going to get more than just the defense, that they were going to get a fight, be able to actually collapse and force and maybe get a kill. Because that was a lot of time spent just to get that red. They're looking for Canyon.
Beautiful engage from Oner. Spectrum on Canyon. The Nidalee, no way out. A heartbreaker from Oner is a heartbreaker for Gen.G fans as the T1 squad gets a pick.
And Oner is now starting to get ahead here. Good hook onto Keria, who has that mana. But Oner right back to the grubs. It means they should be able to grab the full pack here. Oner with 2 kills. And he is getting ahead.
Keria did a really good job of threatening Canyon, who was trying to clear out a ward. That meant that he pushed Canyon more to the left of the river, allowing for Oner to set up for that pick. Flash commits the stun, sets up for the kill, and as you rightly said, it's Oner that gets 2.
Duro, he wanted to try, I respect the effort, but Oner's got it on lock. All 3 grubs for T1.
Now we find ourselves in a very even game state once more. Of course, at the bottom of your screen, you see blue in favor of Doran, blue in favor of Oner, blue in favor of Faker. What was a very rough early lane matchup for him is now going much better after securing 2 plates in the top side. Gumayusi is the only one that's actually behind in gold. But you could argue that who else could Gen.G want to be ahead in this position? Ruler sitting with all this gold, a completed BF sword, 10 minutes into the game. He's going to be the man to watch as we move into the mid-game.
Yeah, has that Bloodthirster will be very hard to poke out. But again, I do question, will he be able to find the angle for that big ultimate? That really is going to be the trick. He's going to have to position himself very, very well because Faker, Doran, Oner are all going to be hunting for this MF and trying to stop him as soon as he pops that bullet time.
This, I feel like the first big fight we get is going to be so explosive. And I feel like whoever gets the first kill really is going to run away with the whole thing. Resets from Viego, massive. Resets from Pyke, also massive. And both teams without a true front line. The tankiest player on either side is a bruiser, in a Renekton, or an Aatrox, but there's no real front lines in this game.
Faker taking a chunk of damage from Chovy, as we've seen so many times before when the 2 mid laners have met. You can feel the tension. Dragon spawning in 15 seconds. Neither side wanting to make that mistake. But you have to play with confidence. You can't afford to concede that space, and Gen.G doing just that. Good vision coverage around the bot river. Faker clears out that bot wave, allowing for T1 to have an avenue.
Ooh, the Bone Skewer came close on Keria. But if anybody knows the distance of Pyke's spells, it is this man. He will be able to keep his distance there from Duro. As Gen.G not confident enough to start the objective, but they still have control over the river itself. Duro with a miss on the Bone Skewer. Ruler gets slowed down. Keria looking for the root. Ton of damage on Ruler. Forced to cleanse to get away there, as he will heal back up. The Bloodthirster doing work as Canyon gets away from the charm from Faker. Chovy goes in between worlds. Bullet time over the top. Faker and Oner half HP as they disengage. Viego, no ulti. Doran arrives into the fight, but he arrives too late. He gets shot as soon as he lands, and T1 back off.
Yeah, Faker tried to flash in and find the charm, could not connect on it. And as a result, they kind of got exposed there. Chovy just throws down the ulti for that slow as they're retreating, and Ruler pushes them back with his ulti. Does earn them this dragon here. Gen.G don't get a kill, but do grab their first objective.
The more we watch Gen.G play this comp, the more I start to realize how patient they need to be. They have to land the poke from Canyon. They're waiting for a hook from Duro. Maybe the slow from Ruler to land a double up. They're basically just chipping away at T1's HP bars before they can find an opportunity to fight. T1, maybe they overstep, they over-aggress, fishing too hard for a pick, and then they get punished. Patience is key for Gen.G as T1 try to put on pressure.
You can see Oner now has that Triforce done. Is going to be doing a lot of damage, and Canyon has just rushed straight towards the Lich Bane. Major item completions are starting to come through. You know, Ruler has had that BT for a while, but Guma now has his Yundal. You can see Faker with the Malignance completed. Sundered Sky done for Keen, who didn't go for the tier 2 boots. So even though he is down on gold, he is quite strong here also.
Lich Bane, very powerful on Nidalee as long as you can get in range to get the empowered auto attack after. It means you cannot just be standing back as the artillery machine with the spears, which means everybody else needs to be ready. If one lands, everyone goes in, everybody goes for that kill. Sundered Sky completed for Keen's Aatrox. As you can see, Doran stopping to get the tier 2 boots first, still needs to make his way to the full stride breaker.
And I think that's one of the most difficult things about Nidalee is understanding exactly how much damage you're going to put out if you do elect to actually pounce in there. It is so risky. You have to be certain that you are going in and you are going to be able to finish off that kill. Otherwise, you're so incredibly squishy that it's almost certainly going to mean your death. And Canyon is a master of this champion, best Nidalee in the world. We'll see if he can make it work for himself, as he has so many times before in these high-pressure situations.
Duro goes fishing for Gumayusi, but he finds nothing. Canyon and Ruler trying to get a little bit of poke themselves, but it's Gumayushi's built over Peacemaker that applies the damage first. The Bloodthirster from Ruler is providing so much value in this game. Whenever he gets hit by these Peacemakers, whenever he gets hit by anything from the Karma or from the Ahri, as long as it's not a charm, it's very easy for Ruler to just heal right back up as long as there's minions nearby, so that T1 never feel the confidence to try to fully engage.
Keen has moved away from bot lane. Faker is alone, and he will take over to level 11. He does have his CP available as the Herald is spawned, and he's going to look for a quick reset. Spend what money he can ahead of the fight, be as strong as he possibly can be. Doran is very low and doesn't have TP available.
Faker pushing the tier 1 turret in the bottom lane the entire time. The skill shots fly back and forth in mid. Keen and Chovy will start up the Herald, but T1 can sense something is going wrong here. Oner jumps in for the Spectral Maw on Duro, but he misses. Doran looking off to the side, but he's already been chunked. T1 bringing in the TP as Gen.G go after the Herald. It is claimed and secured by Canyon. Keen trying to get away from the Karma Rune as Doran goes over the wall. Flash Ruthless Predator. Doran is low. Bullet time gets him. Gumayusi barely staying alive, but it's 2 kills back the other way. Chovy stepping up. Doran and Oner down. Traded for Keen.
An aggressive flash from Doran to set up the fight onto Keen. They think that if they can start to get the resets off onto Oner, then they can start to snowball this fight, but they go a little too deep and the fight doesn't go their way.
And I should never have doubted Ruler. This man is finding ulti after ulti as the flash in here from Doran, but Ruler just steps back and finds a massive bullet time channeled across everyone. Guma has to bury, he has to flash out. Everyone has to retreat there from T1 as the counter engage was just perfect from Gen.G.
It certainly was. Just the wombo combo provided. T1 had to immediately backstep, and Oner realized, oh no, I am way too deep and I do not have the support. Gen.G now with a confident gold lead, 1.2k the advantage, and Dragon only 55 seconds away.
This game 5 delivering, staying close. It's the feat of warfare for T1. It is the feat of turrets for Gen.G, and it is 2-2 on neutral objectives. This Dragon will decide the feats, the boots, overall for whoever claims it. 1,000 gold lead for Gen.G as Doran is pushing up the wave here on the top side. Both top laners have their teleports available to use.
The question to me is, will T1 try to fight it? They're missing a lot of critical flashes. There are some missing on the other side as well, but no flash on Viego, Renekton, Caitlyn. Feels like it would be a very dangerous fight to take.
Duro again going fishing with the bone skewers. Keen lands the Infernal Chains onto Keria, but the Karma's plenty fast enough to step away. Chovy going between worlds. Keria the target here at the very start, as now Doran's going to be burst down very quickly. Q3 won't kill him, and Gen.G don't get their man just yet. Doran's still getting away as Chovy gets enough damage, and Keen gets the kill. Gen.G, execute, and Doran falls.
Faker is doing what he can on the other side of the map. He secures the tower, he continues to push in the wave, but Gen.G will not slow down. Duro is fishing for a hook, he will be spotted, but they find themselves a pick. They set their sights on the tower, and Gen.G is quickly taking control of this game.
And T1 just really weren't in position to take that fight. Oner was looking for a potential flank there, but everyone from Gen.G showed up. Faker's in bot lane doesn't have his teleport, so it's then a very difficult start to the fight because it's essentially a 5v3 for Gen.G as the fight does kick off. And T1 just don't really have the ability to fight back in that situation.
Infinity Edge now finished for Ruler. The AD carry of Gen.G. The return of Ruler to Gen.G. He is the main carry to watch and is the man that T1 needs to shut down.
Drake shouldn't be truly contested here. Doran's hanging around. But Renekton can't do anything over the wall, and Canyon and Gen.G claim the next Drake.
And the feats of strength there. They're gonna get the upgraded boots off the back of that. T1 just not feeling that they are in a position to really get anything done. Faker has spent a ton of time in the side lane, and as a result, is the only player on his team with a gold lead. So he is gonna have to find a big moment to equalize things because everyone else is falling behind.
I completely agree. His charm could be the difference maker. Ruler with the cleanse available. But if they can get that summoner spell out, Faker finding or utilizing the fog of war, I should say, coming out from an angle that can catch them off guard. Ahri is the type of champion that can change games off a single play.
It really can. I mean, even with the cleanse, sometimes the damage could be too much. Also, Canyon, very susceptible to those plays. Duro, if he goes in and gets charmed, could also be very vulnerable. There's so many squishy members on Gen.G that if T1 can really execute that engage perfectly, they can punish them. You can see, though, Chovy and Canyon both heading down for Doran, who is going to be backing off and playing respectful to the fact he's actually going to TP out, so very nervous that the collapse. Thought someone might have been behind him, and I think that's why he's TPing out.
Otacon.
They're just going to start it.
Yeah, they're going to take the opportunity to say, all right, we think that they're overloading down here in the bot side. Let's go into the top side
Chovy
instead.
has no TP. It's not up yet.
T1 are going after the Otacon. It's already down to half HP. Duro and Ruler stepping up. Doran taking a little bit of damage as the bullet time flies out. Doran, 1/3 HP. It buys enough time for Gen.G to try to revive. Kanan has made his way into the objective. Looking to slide it down. Canyon's niddly. Gets the Otacon. Gumayusi caught between worlds, and Gen.G take him straight to hell. Keen, wings spread wide, looks for more. Canyon misses the spear. Keen hits the Q2, needs a little bit more damage, trying to find it. Chovy forces a flash, and Gen.G stand tall.
T1 force the Otacon. T1 bring the fight to Gen.G, but it is Ruler's ultimate that pushes them back. It is Canyon that secures the smite, and it is Gumayusi that falls.
And Chovy just barely didn't have his TP when Doran TP'd up. So I think T1 were thinking maybe we had more time without Chovy having that teleport. Maybe it's going to be a 5v4. But Chovy's teleport came up just in the nick of time. He arrives, sets up for that big bullet time, and then it is just a rout. There's no flash on Guma. They pile in, they take him. Canyon wins the smite, and Gen.G getting very far ahead now.
League of Legends, especially at the top level, is a game of inches. It is a game of seconds. It is a game where the smallest things can make the biggest difference. Chovy arriving in time. Canyon with the smite secure. Gen.G with a lead in Drakes with a 3,000 gold advantage are looking good. 22 minutes into this final game of the Grand Finals.
Faker, the only member that remains deathless on the side of T1. Oner hasn't given up, looks for a play onto Chovy, forces him back, but he will not fall, he will not burn the flash. You can feel how desperate the situation is for T1. The game is quickly slipping away from them, and they need to find plays where they can.
The two I'm looking for that, Vedius, Oner and Faker, both with 2 fully completed items. Leandri's Malignance on Faker's Ahri, Trinity Force plus the Collector on Oner. High damage potential here between these two. Faker also with the Oblivion Orb to cut down some of the healing.
And I think Guma should have IE on this space. He's been sitting on Pickaxe Cloak for a long time. So we'll see if he does have it. No, he doesn't. He's still short. Just has the BF sword, so is going to be a ways off from that big spike. And as a result, T1 They're gonna have to make a tough choice here around this next dragon. Do we want to fight at this dragon here? Because if you lose this fight in a minute, it could be curtains on this game. So they have to make a decision. Are you willing to give up that soul point and put Gen.G one dragon away from a Mountain Soul?
And when you think about Caitlyn, you think about the setups for neutral objectives. You think about the line of Yordle snap traps to make your opponents have to check into you. But for T1, when you're down 3,500 gold, it's so difficult to go and try to get to the area first. It's utterly dominated by Gen.G vision.
A 3.4k gold lead. Mountain Dragon, 25 seconds away. T1 could look to concede this objective, perhaps cross map, secure that top tower, get a bit of gold back for themselves. Now with the Infinity Edge finish for Gumayusi, perhaps gold should be the priority. But what will they do about Ruler, ticking over to level 14?
And we can remember back to the World's 2023 semifinals when Faker was on Azir and he found Ruler when Ruler was on Gen.G, and he found the angle to win there. Now can his Ahri find a similar opportunity? Gen.G setting up here in the bot side river. Gumayusi has his Infinity Edge on the Caitlyn. Gen.G already with the objective, down to 5,000. Faker and Doran over the backside of the pit looking for their entry here into the fight. The Drake down to 3k. Chovy going between worlds. T1 forced away. Drake claimed by Ruler. Now Oner and Faker here with the very start. Reset for Oner. He's low, but he ain't dead yet. Keen goes in for the killing spree. Stunned up by Doran, but Ruler is still ready to fire. Doran wants to slice and dice, but it's a double kill to Keen. Chovy still chasing. Faker only tagged with a twofold hex.
Faker found the charm and Oner found the kill onto Keria, but not before Gen.G got the dragon, and Gen.G win the fight anyway.
The plays were not enough. The Baron is now alive, and Gen.G feel monstrous. They feel like a mountain that cannot be overcome. We look back at the play and it's Canyon that does get targeted. Faker finds an incredible angle, but the response from Gen.G is simply to fight back. A beautiful charm, the collapse Oner, but look at the ulti from Ruler. Duro keeping the bot lane distracted, then Ruler turns his attention to Gumayusi, forces him to flash out. Doran left isolated as his team retreats, and Keen converts it into a double.
And while the T1 soul laners went deep and did actually kill off Canyon alongside Oner, the problem becomes Guma and Keria then cannot join the fight. They cannot walk through Chovy with Ruler behind him, having that ultimate available, being able to push him back. It's been very difficult for T1 to find a way to get Guma involved in these team fights. It hasn't felt like he's really been able to get much done.
What a game state for Gen.G here in game number 5. Soul point, 5,000 gold lead, really in a commanding position against their longtime rivals as they take control over the topside river.
And look at the experience difference here. Ruler level 15, Doran is not yet 14. Ruler has just been vacuuming up so much experience that he is really, really strong. Not only does he have that big gold lead, not only does he have the item lead, he has the upgraded boots, he has all the additional stats from being all these levels higher. He is going to be so tough to deal with.
Big chunk there onto Keria with the spear. Now Gen.G's got to be a little bit careful. Oner goes in for the Spectral Maw, but Duro dashing back away. TP coming in as Gen.G immediately trying to go after Doran. A lot of damage back onto him with the bullet time over the top, but they ain't going to find a kill here just yet. Chovy looking to get away. Keen unstoppable. Nobody on Gen.G is down. Keen with a double kill. And Gen.G are so much better in the team fights.
Their efforts are not enough. T1 cannot find a single member, and with the Baron available, Gen.G will secure it. Now T1 being shepherded by Duro, they look to secure a tower. They're trying their best to escape. Duro will let them free as the Baron is secured.
Able to get the Baron there. Chovy came so close to dying, but he's able to get out. And the ace in the hole was blocked as well. They couldn't finish him off. They couldn't get that critical first kill to try to start the snowball. And Gen.G are too far ahead. If you can't get that first kill, you just can't win the fights. Ruler now on the third item here. We can watch it one more time. Doran decides that it is go time. The teleport was coming in here, and Gen.G realized they have got to defend this teleport. They can't allow Chovy to be isolated from the rest of the team. So as they go in, Doran gets hooked, and he just flashes in the midst of everyone, putting that pressure on. But then the turn here on to Chovy. He is rooted up. He is burst incredibly low, but look at Oner chasing after him. Can't get the last hits to finish him off.
He not only body blocks the ultimate from Caitlyn, but also gets the kill onto Oner. Keen acting as both defense and offense in that play as he swings the fight in their favor.
Throughout this series, Keen has had strong individual performances on his top lane matchups, and here in this game, 6-2-1, he's feeling great on the Aatrox. Turret destroyed down there in the bottom lane. A Baroned up Gen.G, 8,000 gold ahead. Duro with a bone skewer onto Faker. It's not a kill, but it gets the Spirit Rush. Without the ulti, the Ahri is so much weaker, and the last bit of damage from the twofold Hex return into the Electrocute puts Faker at 5% HP. Once the Liandry's is done burning, he's got to recall. He's got to go back to the fountain, and T1 have got to try to stabilize because Gen.G are bleeding them out.
And no one is going to be able to answer the top lane. Doran was trying to push out that bot lane wave to be able to answer there, but you can see Keen was pushing in the top side. They take the tier 2 mid. They're stealing away the top side jungle as well. Gen.G just getting further and further ahead here. 10 seconds just about until that soul will be available for them. Keen has got to get out of here, but T1, they may need to try to chase. They can't do it.
Going for that chase may have lost them valuable time because Gen.G is already back out onto the map. You'll see Duro making his way towards the bot side river. Ruler right behind him. Chovy going to push out that mid wave. A flawless performance from the man in mid. 1-0-9 the scoreline, 100% kill participation. And Ruler will waste no time securing this dragon.
T1 are in a desperate spot. They needed to chase after Keen because they've got to find any opportunity they can, but the cost is the inability to fight for the Dragon Soul. It is Mountain Soul claimed by Gen.G.
And now I think the only hope for T1 is you try to buy time until an Elder spawn and you pray that you can somehow get over there and steal it, but Gen.G I don't think are going to give you that time. They are so far ahead at this point. 7,000 gold, Mountain Soul against a composition that needs that first kill, that needs the upfront burst, and is now going to have to do so much more of it if they want to be able to get anything done.
And back at the very beginning of this game, before minions even spawned, Isaac, you were talking about the difficulty in piloting this composition for Gen.G, the burden of execution on the champions they've chosen, and the #1 team from the #1 region in the world is showing why they sit at the summit.
Exactly, that's why Gen.G is Gen.G. You can see these luxury items starting to come through as well. The Zonia's is done for Canyon, a QSS purchased by Keen, as well as the Warden's Mail. He knows, I don't need more damage, I just need to not get one shot and we will win this game.
Faker chunked down to half. Duro and Keen putting in a little bit of damage on him. T1, they have no flash on Doran. There's no opportunity to try to go in for that Ruthless Predator play. You can see the Spectral Maw charging onto Oner, but it's so difficult to try to go anywhere near Gen.G at this point. They're stepping up, and they're putting the pressure onto the tier 3 turret in mid. Doran tries to slice forward, but he instantly loses half HP.
Gen.G are on the precipice of greatness here.
Oh, a lot of damage there onto Duro, but he'll be all right. He dashes backwards. Oner trying to clear out the chickens, get something while they defend here.
They have been perfect the entire split long in the LCK. Didn't drop a single series. They have been perfect at MSI all the way through the winner's bracket. Did not drop a single series. Something that has never been done before, and Gen.G getting closer and closer to being able to accomplish that.
All right, Gen.G with victory within their grasp. It is 4 minutes until the Elder spawns, but it is less than a minute and a half until Baron returns to the Rift. For T1, that is a scary prospect. Gen.G controls the entire map. It is so dangerous for T1 to step out anywhere into this. Gen.G, they know it. They're shoving up the waves. They're making that fear palpable for T1, as you could see how dark the fog of war is right now.
Gen.G putting pressure across the entire map. T1 will need a miracle. The magic of this roster has been seen before, and they will need to find it in order to turn this game around.
It is an incredibly desperate situation. But if there's one man you would put your faith in to try to make that play, to find that moment in a situation like this, it would be Faker. By far the most clutch player we have ever seen touch the game. Has made a career out of moments like that, pulling back impossible games. We'll see if he can do it one more time here against Gen.G.
Gen.G with control over the top side river. Baron 10 seconds away. Oner will step forward to clear out one of the control wards. Nidalee trap placed down there as Oner again just trying to make sure he does not take damage while T1 steps up. Gen.G, Canyon jumps back away. The Mountain Soul Shield absorbing most of the damage from Gumayusi's auto attack. Gen.G with their lead have control over the mid lane wave. They'll get it shoved out and they'll move back into the river.
I mean, just look at the shield on Ruler. The Bloodthirster shield plus the Mountain Soul shield is so much to get through, and they can just sustain off of this Baron. They're going to start it up and force T1's hand.
Gen.G daring T1 to answer them at the Baron. Chovy and Duro are the ones in position to try to interrupt. Faker goes in for the flash charm, but he won't find it. Oner looking for a chance to steal with the bullet time, immediately forcing him all the way away. He tries to survive, but Canyon will bury him in the river. Gen.G, Baron +1.
Faker tries his best to find a play onto Chovy, but he will not allow it. Chovy holds the line, Oner falls, and with the Baron, Gen.G's last push as they set their sights on the title of MSI.
Gen.G with the push in the top and mid lane simultaneously. Doran and the rest of T1 trying to defend. It is still 20 seconds until Oner is back alive. The Baron minions have made their way to the Nexus turrets. The first already half dead as Gen.G change their attention over to the mid lane tier 3.
The pressure is unrelenting. The wave clear just isn't there for T1. Now 2 inhibitors fall. It's simply a matter of time.
Oner is back alive. The last stand of T1. Doran slices forward, but it won't matter. The first Nexus turret is already about to die. T1 struggling to defend. Duro with a bone skewer. T1 backing away. Gen.G with a massive advantage already in the health bars as Guma's chunked to half. Chovy goes between worlds. Guma goes down. Keria goes down. Gen.G, they did not falter on the road to